Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at the CURT Premium Hanging Style Bike Rack right here on our 2022 Volkswagen Taos. So the CURT Premium is what I consider the most family-friendly hanging style bike rack. It's an affordable hanging rack. It allows you to carry a lot of different bikes, and it has this unique thing where it's tapered in towards the end. That way, whether you have, let's say, your really small children's bikes or you have your differently framed bikes, this makes it a lot easier for you to carry them. So we'll talk about those features and those specs, but we're going to focus on our Volkswagen Taos here today. That way you can see what is the better fit for you, your different types of bikes, and your vehicle. So the first thing we'll take a look at is the way our bike is mounted here. So we have 1, 2, and 3 different mounting points. So the 1 and 2 are going to be on the top, and the third works as our anti-sway. So you can see here we still have a little bit of sway on our rack or on our bike, but compare that to if we took this out of the way, see how much more sway we have. Once you're carrying a lot of bikes, especially since this has the option for up to 5 bikes, if you get the 5 bike version, then you want to limit that as much as you can. So you have these rubber straps, you pull on the strap, and that releases it from its tab. You're gonna get that up and over. So 1, 2, and 3. Once we get those straps out of the way, we can then lift the bike up and then through the cradles. Notice here how much more space we have around our frame. Once that's off completely, I'm then just gonna leave this over to the side so that we can take a closer look at the bike rack itself. The first thing I want to talk about is weight capacity. This has 180 pounds weight capacity for the 4 bike version, and if you have the 5 bike version, you have 225. That's a lot. That's more than your average hanging style bike rack. They usually limit themselves to 35 pounds of weight capacity. This one accounts to about 45 pounds each. So then, you have those straps, they go around your bike's frame and into those tabs. So it takes a little bit of muscle, honestly, just to get them into the tabs, which some people really like because then they can carry, they can get a tighter fit on them. I'll grab a measuring tape here so we can take some measurements. Measuring first for distance from cradle to cradle is about 5 inches. It's a little bit further apart over here towards the tapered ones. The 5 bike version is going to have 2 of these, let's say adult size cradles, and it's going to have 3 of the, let's say, children's cradles. The thing is though, when you carry around a lot of bikes, you're also going to have a lot of space that you're going to have to think about. So we're going to measure from our bumper on our Taos here to the end of the rack by these nice red reflectors, and it sits at 38 inches. The 5 bike version is going to be about 5 inches longer than that. Definitely a good amount of length, something to remember whenever you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a really tight spot. If you want to be able to access your trunk on your Taos, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to tilt this away. And you can only tilt away when the bikes are off. We'll talk about that later. But first, we're going to talk about moving these arms down because that's one of the steps. So we have this pin and clip here. You remove that clip, you pull out that pin, hold on to it once you have it out of the rack so it doesn't swing back towards your vehicle. Pop that pin right back in and then secure it with that clip. That pushes in there and there we go. Okay, taking some measurements. Closest point is going to be from our bumper to this lever in the back. That knob there sits at 3 inches. If you go over, look at the back here, we have an anchor point, and that anchor point is going to be where you can attach your cable lock. See here how we still can't open up our door? That's because with the length added to the back of our vehicle, this does sit about 11 inches away. We are going to have to tilt it away to open up that door. So we have this knob here that loosens just enough so you can take off this clip and this pin. So that clip comes out, this pin comes out, and the final step is this lever on top, so it's a little bit of a process, and then that tilts down. So So we have a pretty good tilt here with the Premium. This allows you to open up your door, see how much space we have between our door and our bike rack, allowing us to get in there, grab our larger items, whether it's our bags, our waters, our coolers. We can grab them real quick, tap that back in, lift this up, but you have to make sure this lever is up, and then it snaps into place, giving you time to put the pin in, secure it with the clip, and tighten back down with that knob. So it's a little bit of a process, and something that you may not figure out the first time, but once you have it a couple times, it's pretty easy to do. The downsides to a hanging rack is that you do have to take off all your bikes if you want to access your hatch. If you want a rack that allows you to tilt your bikes away with them on the rack, you may want something like the CURT Transfer V2 bike rack that tilts away as a platform rack. What is it like living with a bike rack behind you all the time though? Notice that the way this rises up is right where our windshield wiper is. It obviously doesn't cover our tail lights. Now for our license plate, it does kind of cover that. Our backup camera is offset towards the passenger side though, and it sits right there in the opening, so you are gonna see the bike rack behind you, but you'll also pretty much be able to see everything else behind you too, which is awesome. Let's talk about how this fits into our hitch. We have a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch hitch receiver. We have an anti-rattle bolt and we have a clip. If you want, you could upgrade to try to get a lock around that, or you could just utilize your cable lock around the rack. We have options that go right into your hatch. So the anti-rattle bolt uses a 3/4 inch socket to tighten it down. You can pick up extras here at eTrailer if you want to keep it with your vehicle all the time. It works as an anti-rattle though. What that means is it secures the bike rack to the hitch receiver. I'm going to do a shake test here real quick. I'm going to shake the bike rack back and forth just to simulate that road movement and that vibration. So as you can see here, shaking it, I'm really shaking the vehicle at this point. That's because that connection is nice and secure. If you do see some movement, you are going to have a little bit on the arms, and you're also going to have to double check that that knob at the tilt away is nice and secure, because that helps reduce movement too. All right, my personal thoughts about the CURT Premium Rack is if you're looking for something that can carry a lot of bikes without having to spend a lot of money, this is a good option for you. Even if you're not carrying around a lot of children's bikes, there are some of those mountain bikes or those road bikes with really small frames, or if you have women's frames and you need frame adapter bars, this will make it easier for you. With that great weight capacity, definitely an option worth considering. Some other bike racks though that have a bit more of a premium feature is going to be the Yakima Back Road bike rack. That's a hanging style rack and has some more Yakima specific cradles and things like that. You also have the platform rack option. The Hollywood Racks Destination 4 is a good affordable platform rack too. Hopefully this video helped you out with some of those different features though, and figuring out what you are interested in for your different types of bikes. But this right here was a look at the CURT Premium hanging style bike rack on our 2022 Volkswagen Taos.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.